What's going on, everybody? It's Barmine from Barmine Tech, and today I'm going to show you a really easy method into making your own Minecraft server, managing your own Minecraft server, and being able to share it with your friends to all play together. So we're going to be using something called Crafty Controller, and when it's all said and done, we're going to have a game panel that looks just like this. We're going to be able to manage our Minecraft servers out of it, we're going to be able to make new servers out of it, and we're going to be able to add plugins and everything else we need. So stay tuned, because we're going to get right into this. So let's get started. Now, the first thing that has to go with starting up a Minecraft server is what you're going to run it on. I'm going to run it on a Proxmox on a virtual machine, so I'll give you a quick rundown of that, and then we'll get to the install. But we do have other options. You could get like a standalone machine. You could order something off of eBay. You might have an old PC laying around. It really doesn't matter. Minecraft's pretty simple to run. As long as you have some RAM and a decent CPU and some hard drive space, you're pretty much set to run Minecraft and run the server for it. So I'll go over some of the stuff, like we can go on eBay real quick and find some machines that would work, or you have a PC laying around, or maybe on Marketplace. I guess I'm going to do a VM, but we're going to look on eBay real quick. So I always like looking for the mini PCs from the micro form factor, because I think they work really well. So you get something like this, and as long as it has like a decent hard drive space and CPU, it's pretty solid. Like over here we have an i5. You can get a different option. I don't think you would have to buy all that stuff, but if we got like an i5 or even probably an i3 would work pretty well. If we scroll down, like this is perfect. 65 bucks. I actually run one of these. You get 8 gigs of RAM, you get your power adapter, pretty decent CPU. I mean, it's a pretty solid setup, and then you have your own server just to run Minecraft stuff off of. So eBay is definitely a good option, and of course Marketplace if you want to find stuff local to you. Like I said though, I'm going to be running it off a VM. I actually have one running off a VM currently. I'm going to run it off my main Proxmox host, and today we're going to build it off the Barmine Tech server. So let's get started just going through the quick what the VM should look like. So moving over my VM, I actually built this before, but I just wanted to do it to save time. I gave it 2 cores of CPU, 4 gigs of memory, and 75 gig disk. Your resources will vary. This is just to run a simple Minecraft server. If you plan on running 3, 4 or more servers, you gotta definitely bump these up. I would give it more CPU and definitely more RAM if it's available. Like I said, this is to run one server. I have a VM running this on my main server, and I gave it 12 gigs of RAM, 4 cores of CPU, 100 gigs of disk space, and I'm hoping I'll be able to run multiple servers without an issue. So adjust yours accordingly. I know Minecraft is pretty low on needs, but I still want to make sure the server doesn't struggle. So that's going to be the VM, and then we can talk about the Crafty Controller. So I actually found this about a week or so ago, and I was really intrigued in it because it seems to make everything much easier to work with. So it is pretty much a Minecraft panel. As you can see over here, it's going to have everything we need, and it's super simple to get going. They have different methods to install it. You could do, where is it? Here it is. See, they have like Unraid, Linux, or Windows. Looking at all of this, I thought about running it on Linux, and there's a lot of extra steps to it. I thought about doing a Windows machine, but there's a lot of current problems with it. So it seems that the easiest way to do it is actually on Docker. So that's how we're going to do today. It gives you all the information. We've worked with Docker a ton, so it's super simple. So we're actually going to turn that Linux machine into a Docker machine. I'm going to put Portainer on it just to make it easier. And then we're just going to copy over the Decompose and then get it going. So let's start installing Docker. So let's get done updating the machine, and now we're going to go through and do the Portainer Docker install. I'm going to follow Nova Spirit's guide as always. We're just going to run through this really quick. I've done a lot of videos on this, so I'm not really going to explain a lot. I'm just going to kind of run through it. But I did do it through Docker and Portainer. We can do it just through Docker, but I'm more comfortable using Portainer. I think using the GUI will make it a little bit easier. You can do it off the command line and just through Docker, but like I said, I want to make it just simpler for myself. I've used the GUI a lot more than using the command line, so I want to use that. If you want to just use the command line, you of course can. I'm just going to reboot the machine, start doing this. But like I said, you can do whatever way you want. If you want to use just the Docker, you can do that. If you want to use Portainer, you can. If you want to use COS, you can. But I'm going to do it with Docker and Portainer. My machine came back up, so now we'll install Portainer. after that, we should be all set, and then we should be able to go into it and finish it out. Alright, so everything's running, and here I am in Portainer. Just did a simple setup. Now, to come over here, we're going to grab the Docker Compose, and we're just going to copy this whole thing. And now we can come back over to Portainer, and we can come to App Templates, Custom Templates, and we're going to add a custom template. We're going to call it Crafty. And you got to put a description, so I'm just going to put Crafty again. If you don't put the description, and then you try going through and figure out why it doesn't work, that'll be why, because the description is required. I'm just going to paste in the Docker Compose. I'm going to create the custom template. Now we have Crafty. I can click on that. And I can deploy the stack. And that's what we're going to be doing. And that's going to take a minute or so, depending on your machine. And that's because it needs to make the container, but it also is configuring a ton of ports because Minecraft does use 25.5.6.5. And that's the port. But Crafty makes it so you can use a whole range of ports. So if you have multiple servers open, you could just adjust it to 25.5.6.6 or 25.5.6.7 and so on. So there's going to be a ton of ports open, and if I come over to containers, now you can see there's a ton. So we'll go over that in a little bit, but I'm going to click on the logs real quick, and we can see over here that Crafty is now running its startup. So we're going to give this a second, and it'll come through, and it's all done. We'll be able to connect. So after a few minutes, or a minute or so, if we look at the logs, you'll see Crafty is started and is now ready to use. If we give it a second, if we look in the logs, Crafty is now fully started and is ready for use. So we are all set, so we can actually come over here, and the page is going to be https:// your IP :8443 8443. Make sure you do HTTPS. If you don't, you won't be able to hit the portal, and if you do, you'll get a message like this. So we'll click Advanced. I'll accept the risk, and here we are, Crafty now. So we do Admin, and we're going to try Crafty to see if that works. It didn't, so we're going to go over and we're going to pull the password, and I'll show you how to do that. So I was working on this last night, and it seems that the easiest way to pull the password is to just use WinSCP. You could SSH in and do it that way too, but I think WinSCP is a little bit easier. So we're going to log in, and we're going to do that in a second. Okay, so now I'm in WinSCP. Like I said, you could do this off of an SSH window in PuTTY, but this is a little bit easier. We're going to come to Data, Compose, 1, Docker, Config, and then over here we can do defaultcreds.txt. And right here is your password in the quotation. So we're just going to copy that. We'll go back to Crafty. I'll do admin. Paste that in. And now we're in. We're going to not save it because we're going to change that. And I'm going to skip the survey. So first thing you want to do is get rid of that horrible password. It's super secure, but not going to be convenient to use. So we're going to come to your person. No, we're going to come to the gear. Sorry. And then we're going to the admin account. We're going to do new password. And we're just going to change that to something you will remember and be able to use. Click OK. Now the password's set. So we don't have to worry about that anymore. We can actually close out the WinSCP if we want. You can close out your SSH terminal, so we're done with that too. And now we're just going to finish working on Crafty. So if I come over here, this is our dashboard. It has a little bit of stats about the server, so you can see our CPU usage, our memory usage, our servers online, and our players. It also has a log of the storage disk, so we're doing pretty good, and I think we're ready to build our first server. So you can either come over to servers, or you can create a new server over here. So we'll do servers, create new server, and now we have a bunch of different options of what we want to do. To start off, we have Minecraft Java or Minecraft Bedrock. I'm going to stick with Java because that's what I play. So for server type, we have a few different options. We have modded, proxies, servers, or vanilla. So they give you different things to go with it, like if you want to work with Fabric or Forge. For modded proxies, you have a couple different. I never worked with any of these, so I don't know. Servers, you can do paper, which we're going to work with paper, and we're going to do a vanilla server. So we start off with paper, just because paper seems to be more liked amongst the community. We're going to keep it at the most recent version. We'll call it server 1. And down here, you can adjust it so you can give it minimum memory or maximum memory. I'm just going to leave it at default for now, but if it's going to be a server you're going to have a lot of people playing on, and you have more memory on your actual machine it's running off of, I would say to bump this up to 4-6 gigs, whatever you have. And depending on how many servers you have, you're gonna have to adjust the port. So I only have one, so I'm gonna leave it the default. But if you have multiple servers, you would have to bump that up. But from there, we're all set, and we can click Build Server. And now the server's going to start spinning up. You can see it's importing the files we need, and it's really nice because it's grabbing everything we need and doing it all for us. And then we can just give it a second and click Start. That's going to have us agree to the EULA, so we'll click Yes. It's running for the first time, so it's just going to check everything to make sure it's okay. Now, typically, if you want other people to play on your server, you're going to have to open it up and open up a port through the firewall or whatever it is to have everybody else play. And we're going to show you a way to get around that. But it looks like our server is working, and it looks like it's pinned right now on the CPU, but it'll come back down. So we'll click in here, we can look at the logs, and we can see it looks like it's pretty much done getting all set up. Come back over here. It's still working. Yeah, see now it's starting to slow down, so we're good. So we do now have our server all set, and if I open up Minecraft, we should be able to get into it, so let's take a look. One thing to keep in mind that if you're going to use paper, and you're going to use a different version, you need to come over to Installations, New Installation, and then you need to grab the installation out of here, whatever version you're going to use, and then make it so you can actually use it. So like if you're going to use paper and you're on 1.19.4, you got to make an installation over here. But that's that. So we'll go back over here, and now we can click play. And then we'll sign in and we will connect to our server. So now we're in Minecraft, and if I come over to multiplayer, you can do direct connection. I'm just going to do it this way to make it easier. 50, 192.168, 50.117. We'll click join server. It is connecting. Might be a little slow the first time we get in, but we're going to be getting joined up. And here we are in the server. And you can see everything's loaded up and looks pretty solid. Not having any issues yet. We can break some stuff. But yeah, so we are in Minecraft. Got something down there. But yeah, so that's playable. And if I come back into Crafty, we can see the logs. It tells me I logged in. I can see in player management that I'm here. You can promote to make an admin. You can kick, you can banish, you can match everything out of here. Like I said, you can see the logs, so you can see, what's going on and like who logged in. So it works out really nicely. So that's how we get Crafty running for a simple server. And there's a couple more things I'm going to go over, so we're going to get into that real quick. Now to go with the server, there's a couple more things we can cover. So we can do backups. So you can set the actual control panel to do its own backups and save them locally. So you can set to save however many you want. You can compress or shut down the server during backup. Looking into it, looks like you want to shut down the server during backup. It might cause some issues if you don't. And then if you want to run commands or anything after it starts or before it starts, you're all set. So we'll leave that. We can go into config. It has some options in here. I don't think we're really going to need to mess with this. It's more if you want to change stuff about the actual server. We're going to leave that. Like I said, we have player management, so we can ban people, we can kick people, we can make them admins, stuff like that. We can come over to, I think we got to come back to config real quick. So auto start, we can have the server to auto start and have crash detection. That is something we do want to do in config. So if the server shuts off, it'll turn back on, and if it crashes, it comes back up. So we'll click save to that. The other thing I did like was we could add webhooks. So it looks like they need to work on them a little bit, but we can add a webhook. We can add a webhook. You can select Discord or Slack, Teams, whatever it is. So we do Discord, and we can actually make it so they get notifications through Discord. If the server goes down, if it comes back up, whatever it is. Of course, if you're using Uptime Kuma, you can see if the server goes up, down. But we have different situations that we're not going to get, like if the server is killed, if it crashes, if the backup completes, stuff like that. You could just come through here and you could select, server executable updated. We could do Discord. You put the name in, you put the webhook from your Discord channel, and then you could just come over here and say server executable updated. So now it'll send the message saying that. If you don't put the body in, it's just going to send you a blank message and you won't know which one it is. I was trying to mess with this and I tried selecting all of them. Doesn't work that way. It looks like you need to do one at a time, but you could add it to multiple to the same webhook. So you're all set. You could just go make a webhook for each one. So you get Discord notifications. Hey, the server stopped or the server came back up, the backup finished, stuff like that. So that's really the gist of starting a plain old server. I'm going to show you if you already have like a world map or you have a zip or something like that, how we could do that. So I'm just going to stop this server and we're going to come over here and we're going to make a new server. I'm going to make it servers, paper. I'm going to save that. We're going to call it Skyblock because that's the map I have. We're going to keep this the same, but we're going to change the port because now it's our second server. So we're going to make it 66. And we're going to build server. And now we're going to come into the Skyblock. And before we start it, we're going to let it finish importing. And we're going to come over to files. Now in here, we have some different stuff that we need to change. So you can go and grab your world map wherever you want. So like if we want to play Skyblock, Minecraft, we can go over here, we can just download it. I already downloaded it, so we're not going to go through there. But we are going to come over back into files under that new server we just made for it. We're going to right click files. We're going to do upload, browse, and we're going to go to downloads. Nope, I'm going to go to desktop. And I'm going to scroll through and I'm going to find Skyblock. And we're going to leave it in the zip because if you don't, it's not going to work. We're going to upload it. And then we can unzip it when it gets in here. Now, if you want to try to go through WinSCP or whatever, I wouldn't do it. I would just do it this way because everything goes right through here nicely. And if you do it the other way, you might run into permissions issues and stuff like that. So I would just make sure you go through the control panel and do it. We're going to unzip. And now you can see we have our world map and everything else. So we can just delete this macOS file. And we're going to come over to Skyblock 2.1. We're going to rename it. We're just going to call it World. World. We'll click OK. Now we should be all set to come over here and start the server. So I'm going to come back to Terminal. We're going to click Start. We're going to agree to the EULA. This is going to be the first time that the server's running, so it's going to say about open up the port again. That's okay. Then we're going to come over to the logs and we're going to let it work through. And we'll come back in a second when it's all set. So now we have Skyblock running, and now if I go to connect to it, we should be all set. So I'm going to open up Minecraft again. I have Minecraft open. We're going to do a direct connection again, and I still have the same machine, but remember we're on a different port now, so I got to change that. So we do 25566, and it's going to connect to the server. And I hope the Minecraft isn't too loud, but we should be good. And here we are. Here's Skyblock. I can open my chest, and we are all set. And if I, we're in here, so I can leave that, and we're all good. And here's the logs again. I connected, I disconnected. I have myself in player management, so that works. Now, the last thing I want to show is how you can share your Minecraft server with your friends without using a domain or giving out your IP and all that stuff. So I'll show you that right now. So we're going to use this thing called play.gg. Pretty much it's a plugin that's going to go into Minecraft, and from there it's going to kind of proxy over to your server. It's going to make it so it gives you a domain to use that you can share with your friends, and it doesn't expose your network publicly all the way. So we're going to click download, and we're actually going to click plugin, and that's what we're going to download. I already have it, so I'm not going to download it, but you're going to need it, so make sure you do. And then we're going to come back over to Crafty Controller, and we're going to go to files. We're going to stop the world actually. So we're going to stop. Then we're going to come to files, we're going to come to plugins, and in here we're going to upload it. And I have this in my downloads. You'll grab it out of wherever you have it. We're just going to put the jar in there, upload it. So now the plugin is in there. You can see we have the plugin. We're going to restart the server. And now in the logs, it's actually going to start giving us notifications of how to connect to play it to set it up. So we'll give this a second to get going. It has to go through all the setup again. And then here we go. We can see it's enabled in play.gg. And in a second, it should give us a link. So you can see over here, here's the link. So we'll click that or highlight it. Hopefully grab it before it keeps moving. We'll open up in a new tab, and you can set up an account if you don't have one. I'm just going to log in, and then we'll get forward with it. So after you open up that link, it's going to ask you to either sign in or create an account. So you can make an account real quick, or if you already have one, sign in, and then I'll show you the next step. Or you can go as a guest, and then it's going to wait to connect to the agent. So it's going to retry to connect to that plugin, and you can see over here it's going to pop up, and it's going to show you your info in the server. So we're going to click continue, and then we're going to hit add agent again. So it's going to add the agent to link up to your Minecraft server. And now it's going to just check for play it one more time so it can connect to their server, so it can kind of proxy it out. And then after that we should be all set. And it looks like it's created, so we can click view tunnel. And over here is actually going to be our Minecraft server. So there's a couple different options in here. There's agents, so show you your server, and then there will be tunnel. And that will actually be the link to use to connect to your Minecraft server. So if I click highlight that, this would actually be the link that you're going to share with your friends or whoever you want to play on your Minecraft server. So if I go back into Minecraft, I do direct connect, I paste that in, we have logged into the server. You can see I'm back in, and if I leave this and I come back into the logs, we can see that I logged in and I disconnected. I usually will show you some more info like where I logged in from, but you can see it's giving you that 127 address. It's not giving me my public address, and that's actually because it's tunneling through using play.gg. So everything's working nicely, and like I said, you can just share that with your friends, and that's how they can connect to your Minecraft server too. So I know we covered a lot of stuff in this video, but that's how we make the Minecraft game panel through Crafty. It's really simple, and honestly I like it a lot. It's something that I've been looking for a long time. It just makes managing it so much easier and making new servers very simple, and it's going to work great. We use Docker, Portainer, Crafty Controller, and I made mine off of Proxmox, but like I said, you can get a physical machine, do the same thing, just install a Ubuntu server or Debian or whatever your flavor is you like, and then just follow through with the commands like I did. But that's how we set up Crafty Controller. I'll have links in the description to play.gg and Crafty Controller's page and NovaSpirit's Docker setup, everything you might need, and I'll have some hardware below that I'm using in my servers. So if you want to check it out and get yourself, what I use, you can. I'll have my Amazon links below. But I appreciate everybody for watching. I have a Discord server if you want to join up, and make sure you hit the bell notification on my channel so you get notified when I post videos. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.